It's that time of year again. Christmas isn't far off and you're looking for the best cheap RC cars. Now this may be for yourself or as a present for someone else, but the question is, which do you go for and which are actually any good? I've tried lots of cheap RC cars over the course of 2022 and I think I've finally come up with 5 excellent choices which are worth spending your hard-earned cash on. So let's begin, let's take a look at number 5. At number 5 we have the Pinecone models UDIRC and EACHINE range of 1/16 scale vehicles, all based on the original SG1603, which was a huge success. The Porsche version is my favourite out of all of the options available. I absolutely love it, especially when it comes to styling. Now this has to be one of the best looking RC cars I have tested out all year. I absolutely fell in love with this thing as soon as I got it out of the box. I just love that body shell. I think the red looks really good. We've got a nice big wing on the back. Styling wise, this thing is on point. If you haven't seen any of my top 5 or top 10 videos, this is essentially just an SG1603 under that body shell. Now Pinecone models, EACHINE, UDIRC, they've all adopted exactly the same chassis, and what they're doing is releasing loads of different body shells. Because these chassis are quite good and because they're very popular, people are buying these cars. Now this is really good news because what this means is there's a huge variety of different body shells out there depending on your personal taste. Personally, I really like the Lancia Delta inspired body, but that said, I think the Porsche just takes the top spot. Just like the other cars mentioned on this list, this does come ready to run straight out the box with everything you need to get you up and running, and what's nice is they do include some drift tyres as well, so that you can get out there and enjoy some drifting action. I didn't take the Porsche out drifting because essentially it's exactly the same chassis, and I've already done videos like this time and time again. Now performance wise, I actually think the stock tyres are the best bet, but some people really love the included drift tyres. Now there is 2 variants of this chassis. You've got the brushed version and the brushless version. Is it really worth considering that brushless upgrade? Now if you're looking for outright speed, yes, I would say it is. You will be hitting 20 to 25 miles per hour. When you consider how small this little chassis is and how small these cars are, that is not a bad speed. Now that said, the brushed version also performs really well, and I actually think the brushed version performs a little bit better when it comes to drifting. It just feels like the combination of the brushed ESC and motor and the included gyro is a little bit better on the brushed version, but that's just me. This brings us on to number 4, and we have the MJX 16889A PRO Brushless. I own the brushed version and I've never actually tried the brushless version, but everyone I've spoken to, they all say the same thing: this truck is epic. I want to say a massive thanks to the RC Kiwis for allowing me to use their amazing footage here, and as you can see, it is epic.
Oh,
oh, look at it. Oh, beauty.
that was nice.
Coming back. Nice.
These are selling for £119 or $138 at the moment, which is a decent price considering how good they actually are. The 16889A is known for being fast, durable and fun, and an excellent choice for someone looking at getting into the hobby, but they're not really a fan of brushed models and they're looking for a little bit of extra speed. Electronics wise, the truck comes with a 3800 kV brushless motor, a 2-in-1 ESC and a 3-wire micro servo. Chassis features include metal shocks, metal drive shafts, very durable plastic used throughout on all the components, and the chassis itself, ball bearings and optional wheelie bar. In the box you get a decent transmitter, a 1000 mAh 2S LiPo, a black and white manual and some spare accessories. The RC Kiwis managed to achieve a speed of 39 km/h or 24 miles per hour, which isn't too bad for such a small truck. The truck is skate park and bash ready and an epic choice to throw into a backpack and have some fun with it anywhere. Moving on, we have got the Hyboxin 901A. This thing is insane, I absolutely love it, and at the start of the year I actually said I think this is the best cheap RC car you can currently buy. As you would expect, that was a little bit of a controversial opinion. A lot of people wrote in the comments section, you are completely wrong, it has to be the WL Toys 124 016 and 17, the brushless version 2 models. Now I didn't completely agree with that because the version 1 models were a complete disaster and I just didn't want to support the version 2 models on my channel. I'm not going to go into too much detail about the WL Toys issues because I've already done videos on that and I will leave links down below. Again, everything you need to get you up and running is included in the box. Now on-road performance, really good. I tested this thing out on 2S and I also tested it out on 3S, and I know a lot of people out there said, can you use 3S on this long term? Well, I've been using this thing on and off for a few months now and I haven't had any issues yet. Off-road performance is really good, those shocks feel really nice, and overall it just feels like a really solid little truck, and considering it's quite small, it's a very balanced all-rounder. An excellent little desert buggy, and I think it's still one of my favourite cheap RC cars you can buy this year. Moving on to the number 2 spot, we have the fantastic WL Toys 144010. This is the model a lot of us WL Toys fans were crying out for, especially if you are a fan of the original 144001 brushed version. The 144001 used to be WL Toys' most popular and cheap model to date, but that has since changed and is now almost just as expensive as the brushless ready to run. Now I actually said this little buggy was perfection. It even has perfection in the title of that video, and that is because it is absolutely epic. Now yes, WL Toys did upset me a little bit with their previous models. I wasn't a huge fan of those and I chose not to support them on my channel, but I can tell you for a fact, this one I will be supporting all day long. I was a huge fan of the 144001, so naturally I was going to be a huge fan of this. Now there was a little bit of delay getting this thing released. I believe it was meant to be released last year. I think there was a shortage of components, which is why it wasn't released until 2022. Now we did have the EACHINE EAT14, I believe, which again was essentially just exactly the same chassis. It was just rebranded with a brushless system, but that thing did cog a little bit. It was usable, but there was some cogging issues, whereas with this you get no cogging issues, and if you can see beyond that slight delay issue, this thing is great. I took this to my local BMX track and I have to say it performed great. I had so much fun with it and it handled all the jumps perfectly. I cannot stress enough how good this little buggy really is. Now I think the real question here is, would I pick the 144010 over the Hyboxin 901A? Oh, well, do you know what? I've been a huge fan of the 901A throughout the year, but I think I would pick the WL Toys. And that is because straight out the box, I think it is probably going to be the slightly better all-rounder. It's also got more metal components, it's quicker, and I think if you're looking for an overall good all-round package, it could be the 144010. So there can only be one choice I would recommend at the number 1 spot, especially if you're on a tight budget and you're looking for the most performance for the money. It has to be the MJX Hyper Go Brushless. This thing is a 1/16 scale beast, it's 2S and 3S ready out the box, and I think it's simply incredible. But why does this new truck deserve the number 1 spot? Well, it's impressive when it comes to on-road performance, managing speeds up to 40 miles per hour on the included 3S battery, which is one of the fastest speeds I have seen on a cheap RC truck of this size. This is thanks to the 4200 kV brushless motor and 45 amp ESC helping to propel this tiny truck to those impressive top speeds. There's zero cogging on and off road and everything feels super smooth and it's very easy to drive. This truck is the result of lots of in-depth testing and feedback received by customers and RC YouTubers, including myself, who reviewed the first brushed version and passed on all the comments to MJX to make any relevant changes. MJX listened and they've left out the somewhat gimmicky GPS features, instead making an optional GPS package for those of you out there who still want the GPS functions. If you're looking for an excellent upgradable platform which is already very capable out of the box, then this is the one to buy. In the box you've got everything you need to get you up and running, including a 2S or a 3S 1050 mAh LiPo, depending on which version you go for. A USB charger, a black and white manual, plus some spare accessories. The truck features features metal oil-filled shocks, metal drive shafts, metal centre drive shaft, wheelie bar, which you will need to fit using the included screws, a rear wing which again you will need to fit yourself, adjustable turnbuckles and a whole lot more. Overall quality of this truck is excellent and it definitely shows. Off-road performance is fun and it feels good on 2S, and I think that's more than enough power for most people. I have no doubt these things would also do well at your local skate park, as they are made from excellent quality and flexible plastics. In my opinion, the best RC mini truck you can buy in 2022 has to be the fantastic MJX Hyper Go Brushless, and it doesn't matter which one you go for. If you go for the monster truck, the buggy or the truggy, you're going to be seriously impressed. There we go then, that was my top 5 cheap RC cars for Christmas 2022. It doesn't matter which one you go for, they are all epic in their own right. Just bear in mind, if you do decide to buy one of these and you order from Banggood, shipping could take a while, so I'd highly recommend placing an order soon. I really hope you enjoyed seeing these RC cars in action, and make sure you drop a comment down below and let me know which are your favourites. Before you go today, you can also check out more of my top 5 videos here. Click on the video at the top to check out my top 5 RC cars I couldn't live without, and click on the bottom video to check out my top 5 cheap RC monster trucks for 2022. See you on the next one.